Aloha, caregivers. Welcome. Hi, this webinar is presented by Gimme A Break, a nonprofit organization that's caring for caregivers just like you. And we offer emotional and physical breaks as well as resources for your continued wellness. Gimme A Break is based on caring for you, the caregiver. And we provide support, resources, and outreach, as well as help you to promote self-care and your survival. For those of you who are tuning in this evening, hi, if you've been also tuning into the Caring Caregiver Show, where, I talk about that statistic way too often, but 50% of our caregivers are not going to survive their experience, and we need to change that. So we're all caregivers. Trust me, you might not think you're a caregiver, but you are, and you're still going to take that same stress. And so this presentation is one of the ways that we can help educate you and teach you to self-care, even in moments. So this particular presentation is going to empower you. And we are in our Empowering series. Last week, or let's see, what is today? Saturday's on Wednesday. We had Lonnie do the first part of the Empowering Caregiver Series, and I'm part 2. So we'll be talking about that in just a moment. And then stay tuned next Wednesday for part 3 by Lonnie Almanza, and then the final next week, Sunday, with me. So get on our website at gab808.com.org. Boy, do I need to wake up tonight. Get on our website at gab808.org. Check it out. Go to the, hit the button to register, and you'll get a link to watch it live. Or we're streaming on about 7 platforms right now live. So just go to one of our social media platforms. And by checking on our social media platforms, you'll also see all the dates and times for all the presentations. So I hope you join us. Let's get on with it. Today's presentation is actually the second part, I said, of Empowering Caregiver Series, and that's this one. Let me get all of this together for you. There we go. So the Empowering Caregiver Series, and tonight we're going to talk all about facing our guilt. Yeah, it's pretty heavy, I know. But you know what? I think it's something we need to talk about. So first of all, what is caregiver empowerment? What do I do when I'm telling you I'm empowering you as a caregiver? Well, it's the realization that we deserve to survive. We deserve it. And to feel a greater ease, happiness, and fulfillment. It's helping us to learn to control what happens to us, what we can and can't control, and to practice acceptance of ourselves while developing our knowledge, abilities, and confidence to more actively meet our needs, desires, and goals, free from guilt. And yet we all carry that guilt on us, don't we? Guilty for not always doing the best we can, or maybe we made some mistakes and we're really hard on ourselves. Well, we're going to talk more about that tonight. But let me just emphasize that again. It's the realization that we deserve to survive free from guilt. There you go. And you do. So how do we face that guilt? Because we always push it down, don't we? We just push those emotions down, and all we do is caregive. We just keep caregiving, and every day goes by, and we push those guilty feelings down even lower. And we do feel guilt. What are some of these reasons? Because we're caring and we're empathetic, and by nature or by need, and it's easy for us to fall prey to that guilt because we're the ones that are so giving, right? We're always taking care of others. And so then it's super easy for us to feel guilty about maybe not doing so well. Some of us are perfectionists. Some of us are a little OCD. I know, you all know me. We can all relate, right? What other feelings do caregivers have of guilt? Well, we're not good enough, maybe. We don't spend enough time with our caree, right? How's this one? We might miss our lives before caregiving. And there's just so many other excuses or guilty feelings that you can come up with, and ways for you to push feelings that you have off. So we internalize it rather than face it. And when we internalize our emotions, it affects us physically, and we will succumb to that. If we allow those emotions to affect us physically, we could end up with something called caregiver burnout. And again, for those of you who have listened to some of my podcasts and I talk about this, is that I lost my own father to caregiver burnout. Had I only known that he was suffering from caregiver burnout, had I only known that all I had to do was get some support in there and to be able to help balance things out for him. Who knows, right? Coulda, shoulda, wouldas in life. We can't do much about the past, but we can definitely do something about our future, especially our future as caregivers. So caregiver burnout is an actual medical condition. I've had a doctor say it, caregiver burnout. It's considered a condition that you have. So don't take it so lightly. It does refer to becoming physically, emotionally, and mentally exhausted from the stress that comes from caring for a loved one who's not well. You may feel alone, unsupported, or unappreciated. Relating to this in any way, caregivers? I know. And it's okay. You're not doing anything wrong. You're just tired and you're feeling burnout. So I want to talk about what are some of the symptoms, because a lot of people will tell me, oh yeah, I know the symptoms. I was just talking to a wonderful woman today. She was telling me she had a stroke and she thought she had a second one. She said, because I know the symptoms, she said. Since my first one, now I know the symptoms. Well, do you know the symptoms for caregiver burnout? Are you even able to recognize whether you have those symptoms or not? I know, what does all this have to do with guilt? Again, guilt makes you suppress your guilt that you have from caregiving. You suppress those emotions into your body, and those emotions affect you physically. And that leads to caregiver burnout. There's your connection. So here's some general signs, just general signs and symptoms, caregiver burnout. And I want you to, in the beginning, and I don't know if I remember to tell you this, but if you didn't get a pen and paper out, get one out. Or go to the notes on your cell phone. And I want you to give yourself a point for every single one of these that you feel, all right? Or just count them on your hands. So 1 point if you're feeling anxious, or if you tend to when you're caregiving. Another point if you're avoiding people. How about feeling depression? There's another point. Feeling exhausted? That should be more than one, but that's 1 point. Feeling you're losing control of your life. Being irritable. Having a lack of energy. Another point for losing interest in the things you like to do. And another point for neglecting your needs and health. How'd you do? Add all those points up. If you've got 9 points, then maybe you need to pay a little more attention to those signs and symptoms. How about some physical signs? Because remember, those emotions then manifest themselves physically, all right? So some physical signs may be 1 point if you've got body aches and pains. Now, don't cheat this one, because I'm a senior citizen and I get those aches and pains, so I can't confuse those necessarily with suppressing guilt, but all right, I'll give you the point. So body aches and pains. How about fatigue? Frequent headaches? And if you had these before caregiving, maybe they're more intense now. Maybe they're more frequent now. Increased or decreased appetite. Unusual changes in weight. And again, this conversation I was having with this lovely woman today was that we talked about how we both just gained weight. And it wasn't even that you were eating, it's just you gained weight. And that's because your body was in fight or flight mode, right? It stores all of that up in you. Do you have insomnia? How are you sleeping? 1 point for insomnia. And give yourself a point for the weakened immune system. Maybe you're getting frequent infections or frequent illnesses, or you constantly have a runny nose, or you just seem to get sick easily. Your immune system is low. Those are some physical signs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 there. So now we're up to 16. If you've got 16 points so far, boy, we got a lot to talk about tonight. All right, here's your last one. This is the emotional signs. Now, we suppress the emotions and they come out physically, but we also can see emotional signs to help as symptoms to recognize whether you have caregiver burnout. All right, finger up. Point 4, feeling anxious. I know we had that one earlier, so that's a double one, I know. Becoming angry and argumentative. That's a big one. You might have to even be honest with yourself about that one. Becoming irritated easily and often. So this isn't that normal, oh my God, that irritates me so much kind of stuff. This is easily and often. You're really easily irritated at the littlest things. Oh, I can't believe you did that again. Those kind of things. Really bad, right? How many times are you going to ask me that? Right? Easily and often. Constantly worrying. Oh, man, I better go check and make sure they're all right. Did I do this? Oh man, I better make, right? Constantly worrying. Are you feeling down, sad, or depressed? It's okay. We're right here for you. I'll give you a big hug later. Feeling hopeless. And I know this one's a hard one to admit to because we think that we have to be perfect and do all the right things, but I know somewhere back there you might be feeling really hopeless, like, God, I just can't do this. I can't take this anymore. Are you feeling impatient? How about not being able to concentrate? That's a tough one, boy. I really wanted to take some time and learn something like you said, Savy, but I don't know, I start reading a book and I just can't concentrate. You know what that is? That's caregiver burnout, gang. Isolating yourself emotionally and physically. And the last two, lacking interest in things that used to make you happy and lacking motivation. So how'd you do? Do you have caregiver burnout? Well, if you've kind of self-diagnosed at this point, if you really scored every single one of these, by the way, I highly recommend go to your doctor, have a conversation with your doctor, please. Make an appointment right now on your phone while I'm talking and talk to your doctor about the things that you are going through. Don't go in there and go, no, I'm okay. I'm just a little tired. Admit all the things that you just had to check off on this past list and get the help you deserve. But as that caregiver burnout progresses, and if we don't do something about that, that depression and anxiety will just increase. And I know some caregivers, you turn to relief. Who can blame you, right? You might start using alcohol or even other substances, sleeping aids to help get some rest. And you know, some of those herbal ones count too, you guys, especially, you know, if you're doing like something to help you sleep, right? And you're taking, I don't know, what are some of the ones that everyone's taking now? You've got magnesium. Magnesium's good for that. You're doing, I can't even think of it, the other one. And, you know, you're taking a pill for that to go to sleep. And be careful, some are very habit forming. And after a while, your body can get really accustomed to it and it doesn't work anymore. But there are stimulants all out there. There are herbs out there. There's all kinds of things that you can try to relieve the symptoms, but that's what you're doing, right? You're not getting to the root of the problem. Caregiver burnout may lead to impairment and increasing the risk of harm to you and the one that you're caring for, your caree. So it's a danger for both of you. So we're going to go ahead and prescribe you. I'm not a doctor, but I'm going to prescribe you as one caregiver to another, a prescription for treatment and prevention measures that are practical for caregivers. Because as a caregiver, you're going to need as a caregiver with caregiver burnout, you're going to need help from your actual doctor and a prescription probably from an actual doctor. But what I can do is I can give you practical things to help you at least get through your days a little better. Mindful moments that you can practice. Now, think about this too. If you found out that you had a medical condition, oh wait, you just did. And the doctor told you that you had to do blank, what would you do? Well, you do it, right? Because you need to get better. right? Well, you do have a medical condition, and you need to empower yourself to take action. Because not only do you need whatever a doctor prescribes for a condition, but you have to have a positive attitude, and you have to make your mind up to survive your illness. So let's remember that definition. Empowerment for caregivers is the realization that we deserve to survive free from guilt. You do deserve to survive. You deserve to survive beyond caregiving. Because as much as we want to think that this has been dragging on for a long time, and boy, we're just going from one caregiving to another caregiving, and I can relate, I'm still caregiving. We can change that and still have a survival to it. We can beat the odds. We can survive caregiving, and we can still have a life and still obtain our dreams. We'll talk more about that. So let's take some activities that we can start doing. So here's the first activity. We're going to let go of guilt. How do we do that? Well, we must first clear out the doubt and fear by remembering and listing all of the accomplishments. So I talk about this all the time, right? Is if you're going to remove negative from you, negative is really aggressive. Negative likes to find homes. And if you remove negative and leave an open area, positive can sometimes come in, but negative could come in twice as much because negative's fast. So if we're going to take negative things out, start with a positive. Start with a positive and the positive choice outcomes that you had in your life's journey. So get that pencil and paper down. I want you to make a little bit of a list. All right, here's some questions. What are some of the things that you are proud of? Go ahead and list one right now. One thing you're really proud of that you did. And you know, it could be something that goes way back to when you were a kid. And you got a, I don't know, a star on the chart. That gold star meant something to you. Or it could be an accomplishment at work. It can be anything. Something you're really proud of that you accomplished. Got it? Okay. Now, what are some of the greatest lessons that you've learned in life? And if you can't make that list now, that's okay. But write that question down so you can make a list later. What are some of the greatest lessons you've learned? Go ahead and you can make a list of that. Now, once you have the list, give yourself credit for all of those things. The lessons you've learned, the accomplishments you've made. Tell yourself, good job. You know, I always do the whole take your hand, put it on your shoulder, give yourself a pat, add a caregiver, right? Good job. And recognize that you did do these. You deserve that recognition. That's filling yourself with positive. Then you can release and let go of that doubt and fear. Don't even fight all that good stuff coming in. Just be like, bye-bye, let it go. Do this whenever you feel doubt or fear or anything overwhelming you. Or if you can't sit down and write a list, keep that list on your phone in your notes and open it up and read it again, especially that one really big thing you're proud of. Because doggone it, you earned that. And you may just be proud of the fact that you take such good care of your caree. That's awesome. Now, we let go and we're going to let in more good, right? We're going to keep feeling that positive and we're going to enhance your gratitude. So you need to thank yourself daily for the things that you do. That's right. I said, tell yourself thank you. Thank yourself. And it will not really matter if anyone else acknowledges what you do. So we, as humans, we wait for people to notice us, to notice and thank us for things that we do. We wait for people to say, hey, I noticed you did that. Oh, wow, good job. We need to stop. And the first person we need to acknowledge is the one that we're going to live with the longest, and that's ourselves. So thank yourself for what a great job you're doing. You don't need anyone to thank you. Thank me for believing in me. What a great way to show gratitude to yourself. And so we need to say humbly, thank me. And if you forget to thank yourself, I want you to start practicing it. Humbly accept that thanks from yourself. And when you catch yourself doing something really great, go, ooh, thank me. Not a caregiver. They got all kinds of things to do now. And that way we kind of turn our acceptance button on as well. And that gratitude that you have for the things that you're doing will help you to really firmly believe in yourself again. Because it's hard when you stop doing that. All right, and the last part of this activity now is to practice mindfulness. Mindfulness is when your heart and your brain hold hands. So when your heart and your brain hold hands, they work together. So I want you to also add to that list, what are some things you enjoy doing? You can write a few now if you want. What are some things you enjoy doing? I love getting on a floaty and lying in a pool or a water in the ocean and just lying there and just let the water move me. I love that, right? And then try to figure out ways to make time for these on a daily, a weekly, a monthly basis, or just taking your medication and vitamins could be something that you practice mindfulness because you've gotten to the point where you're not even doing that. So this is a medication prescription. Let's remember that. So just like taking your medication or your vitamins that you have to do every day, so does mindfulness. So take mindfulness moments of things you love. Okay, so let's see. I can't go to the water and lie on a floaty every day, but there's other things I love. I love sitting with my dog and just having a moment with her. So I can do that in a quiet moment right there. I love to just spend a little time meditating, even if it's, 30 seconds or a minute. Seize those moments. Prescribe yourself what you need with the intention of practicing mindfulness. Take that time to be intentional. Schedule time for you, just like you would for the person you're caring for. You schedule time for them. Oh, it's time for their medicine. Oh, it's time to make them something to eat. Oh, it's time for me to practice mindfulness. Wow, you can do that. Caregiver burnout is a medical condition, and it can lead to even more severe conditions. So it's vital for your survival to keep your prescribed treatment. And if anyone has anyone else to say, you can say, I'm on a prescribed treatment. Part of that treatment really does include community. So make sure that you're connecting with a community. And you can connect with a community of caregivers with Gimme A Break as well. And we meet every Tuesday evenings at 8 p.m. And I just noticed this is an old document on the screen. So we no longer have the 2 o'clock Tuesday afternoon sessions. And actually, someone from our 2 o'clock session that we had before gave me a call today because she really misses them. But we only meet at 8 p.m. So 8 p.m. on Tuesdays, and our Zoom ID number is there. You can actually go to the website, gab808.org, and you can find all this information. And just tune in online and talk with a bunch of caregivers just like you. And if you can't make it to one of Gimme A Breaks, there's a full list there of every single one located on the island of Oahu. And if you happen to know of any caregiver group sessions on any of the neighboring islands or in your area, please let us know. Email them to us at info@gab808.org, and I would love to know and add them to the list as well and put them on our website for other caregivers. So if I've missed any, please let me know. But connecting to a community is so important because it helps you to get that support that you need. All right? And here's our session. That's the corrected slide right there. So weekly online, and that's all you do. Type in our phone number. Our phone number is 808-754-3787. And you can go ahead and use that as the Zoom meeting ID, no password needed, and join us every Tuesday at 8 p.m. All right. So that's a real positive as well. What else can you do that's positive? We have the Givers Guides magazine that we put out every month. This is an online magazine, and you can get all kinds of amazing tips and tricks to help you. This is a peek at the current issue, the October issue, and we have articles like top three self-care practices. Caregiver roller coaster. Caregiving is a roller coaster ride. Scary facts about caregivers. How to fill your cup. Great articles written for caregivers by caregivers with you in mind. And so we know the point of view of a caregiver. We're all caregivers. And so we understand what your needs are. And so we write to those needs. So if you can see this QR code, go ahead and zap it with your phone, and you'll get a free 3-month subscription right off the bat. So this will take you right through the holiday. And if you wish to continue on, it's really only $24.99 for the year. And you'll be able to support a cause, because anything that goes to the subscription goes to help Gimme a Break to continue doing what we're doing. So Givers Guides Magazine, great resource for you. And of course, if you need resources, you can always watch my show, Caring Caregiver Live Show, and that comes on every Wednesday at noon. And we stream live like we are right now on the same platform you're watching us on. Or you can go to our YouTube channel and watch all of them at the caringcaregivershow.com as well. You can see all of the videos, or you can listen to audio. But our podcasts are also available and out there. And you'll probably catch one of our past episodes on Alolo TV 53 as well. So just get connected. And that's one of the greatest things you can do as a community. You can get connected. You can survive this. You can release all that guilt. And then you can take in all this positive and get supported by other caregivers. And it's a win-win. So in the meantime, continue to care for yourself. Continue to take care of your condition. Know that you do have a medical condition, and know that you are on a prescribed course of medication and that you need to take care of it. All right. And so do that. Do the homework that I gave you as well. That will help you. And then give yourself an add a caregiver every now and then. And don't forget to say thank you. And I thank you. Thank you, because I know what you're doing. And it does seem thankless sometimes. So let's fill the air and thank each other all the time and recognize what we do. I know this was brief and it's going to be another section, but I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it helps you. I hope it helps to empower you to survive and not give up. We all are going to change that statistic, and we're going to continue to survive and thrive beyond that. If you have any other questions, just email us at info@gab.org, and know that Gimme a Break is here for you. You can, again, connect with us, and we have our weekly sessions, and keep connected on social media, because we have our Caregiver of the Year contest coming up next month as well. And we would love to have you be part of that. And you can share your story and share your experience, because you're going to help inspire another caregiver. And you're also going to help us to have a voice. Caregivers are they're not an underserved community. They're a non-served community. And we're doing something about that, because another thing that Gimme a Break does is advocate. And we're advocating for you. So when you go to our website, gab808.org, please click on the Be an Advocate tab. And go to that page and look at the bill that we're trying to get passed through legislature. And also, if you'd like to support that bill to help caregivers to get paid, please fill out the form, join us, help support us, be a voice. We would love to have you be part of that. I hope you enjoyed it. I can't wait to talk to you again about more, part 2. And remember, our next session will be next week, Wednesday at 8 p.m. So next week, Wednesday, I should have had that date up. I didn't. I know, I tend to think in too many places at one time. The 9th. So Wednesday, the 9th at 8 p.m., join us for Lonnie's part. And I'm almost sure it is the Caregivers Ikigai, which will be really, really interesting. I know you'll really love it. All right. Have a great evening. Thanks so much for your time and for joining in. And if you're watching this later in one of our social media stations, put a like in there and a follow and subscribe, because that helps us get out to more caregivers who need to hear the information. All right. Face your guilt, let it go, and fill yourself with so much positive that you have the power to continue and be an empowered caregiver. Aloha, everyone. Have a great night. Bye.